I want to share with you what I call my kitchen sink miracle. So, this was about over a month ago now. I was standing at my kitchen sink. There's a big, beautiful window in front of my kitchen sink, and it was a warm, sunny day outside, and I was doing the dishes. And there were a lot of dishes to do, so I was there for about 25 minutes doing these dishes. And as I was doing the dishes, I was thinking about so many things I was going to be doing that day, things that I had to do later the week, things that happened the past week or the past month. And as I was thinking about all these things, I started to feel a certain way. So when I thought about what I had to do the next couple of days, I started to feel a little anxious, a little overwhelmed. When I was thinking about something I could have done better from the previous week, I started to feel a little anxious and a little not enough. Those feelings started bubbling up. In my mind, as I was thinking all these things, I started to feel a certain way. So overwhelmed, sad, angry, even to all the way to really opposite end of the spectrum of emotions, which is happy, joy, content, excited, looking forward to, anticipation. And that was all going on, and I wasn't aware of what was going on. I was just in the experience. I was thinking about these things, and these things were producing an emotion for me, ranging from one extreme to the other extreme of the emotional spectrum of negative to positive. And when I had just finished doing the dishes, I looked up outside the window and I realized, oh my God, this whole entire time I had not moved. I had not moved a single inch. I had been standing in front of this kitchen sink doing the dishes for the whole 25 minutes, and I had not moved. Yet in my mind, I had traveled the galaxies. I had gone from one emotion to the next emotion to all the way up here in the emotion spectrum scale. And I realized in that moment that we live in our mind. We do not live in the world. And that was so powerful for me, because here I was standing at the kitchen sink and I had not moved a single bit. Yet in my mind, I went traveling in every place I could possibly go and feeling every emotion that I could possibly feel in that 20-minute spectrum. And I was like, wow, if this is what's going on all the time, that really means that we don't live in the world, we live in our mind. Everything is happening within us. And since it's happening within us, the only place we can really change anything or create any kind of shift or change is within us too. And that was so powerful for me because it's something I've always known, but it was just like a very visceral, hands-on experiences. And I love those hands-on experiences because I call them miracle moments. And that was my kitchen sink miracle. And I realized that depending on what I'm thinking, depending on what I'm feeling, is the way I'm going to perceive the world, is the way I'm going to perceive reality, is the way I'm going to perceive the things around me. So if I'm in a bad mood because I'm caught up in something that happened to me, 3 years ago, and it made me feel really angry or anxious or inadequate, then that whole day is going to be lived through that filter. It doesn't matter what is going on out here. It could be the most beautiful sunny day in the world, and you could be smelling the roses, or you could be seeing butterflies. But if in your head you're feeling any kind of emotion or thought, you're sitting with that inside your head within you, that is how you're going to experience the world. And it was such a huge aha moment, because everything in our life is always self-perceived. It's always self-created. Whatever is going on within us is then how we're going to experience what is going on around us. And so having that kitchen sink miracle was a huge transformative realization for me, because it's not about what's happening out here. It's about what's happening within me and where I am with myself. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? Because it's always going to determine how I'm going to perceive the things out here and how I'm going to experience my life. So I guess my takeaway, or your tool to apply into your own life, is to start just observing your mind And this is going to take a little bit of effort because it's kind of not normal to be the observer of our mind. We're always so identified and caught up with being the thinker, the one who's thinking this thought, the one who's feeling this emotion. We identify ourselves as these thoughts, as these feelings. But I'm asking you to maybe pull the separation a little bit and start thinking, start being the observer, the witness of your thinking, of what you're feeling, instead of being the emotion, being the thought. And do this the next time you're washing dishes. You could have your own kitchen sink miracle. It's just be like, I'm going to wash these dishes. And while I'm washing my dishes, I'm just going to observe what's going on in my mind, where my mind is taking me with the thoughts it's thinking, and what emotions are occurring within me because of the thoughts that the mind is thinking. And just pulling away, creating that space, that gap where you can just watch it and just watch it. Just simply watch it like you're watching a movie. Don't become caught up in it or identified with it. Just watch it. Here's a little quote that came to me when I was journaling earlier this week about the mind and the thoughts and things like that. You use a thought to direct your mind. The mind cannot direct itself. A thought is a tool. It's the driving wheel that directs the mind. It tells the mind, hey, focus on this. Hey, think of this. And so when we become the observer and the witnesser, then we can really become more vigilant and aware of, what am I thinking, and do I want to think this? I hope this message served you. I would love to hear from you and your thoughts as you apply this in your own life and what realizations and what things you uncover. I also want to invite you to come join my private Facebook community, True Self Tribe, for conversation, for connection, and for community. Wherever you're on the world, have the day you want to have and stay open.